In Galatians chapter 2, Paul writes about how his apostleship was recognized by the leaders of the church in Jerusalem, how Barnabas played such a key role in reaching out to him and providing a bridge into the church, a bridge of friendship and acceptance. And he describes James and Cephas, that's Simon Peter, and John, who were acknowledged pillars, recognized the grace that had been given to me. They gave to Barnabas and me the right hand of fellowship, agreeing that we should go to the Gentiles. And then in verse 10, our verse for today, we hear they asked only one thing, that we remember the poor. It is a bedrock biblical principle, not just in the New Testament, but in the Old Testament, that the people of God are to remember the poor. We are to help care for the poor, to help meet their needs, to welcome them, not to look down on them, not to be condescending or judgmental towards the poor. We are to remember the poor and to act in loving and generous and compassionate and just ways towards the poor. And the church at its best, all throughout its many different branches and expressions, this is something the church has done. And we want to make sure it's part of what we do as a congregation, to remember the poor. And we see this, as I said, back in the Hebrew Bible and in commands and teaching, including not to take all the crops out of your field, not to glean it down to the bare bones, but to leave things for the widows and the poor and the alien. We see it in the teaching of Isaiah, who in the beginning of his book highlights the importance of justice and caring for the poor and the alien and the widow and the orphan. So all throughout we see the priority and importance of remembering the poor. And in an age in which we're living, when we see publicly people who are very mean, dismissive, frankly, even cutting off support for the poor, that is not a Jesus way to respond. It's not a New Testament way to respond. We are to remember the poor and to seek to be an instrument of God's grace to them, just as Jesus and the early church were in their time.